Today we're going to be talking about the difference between condos and co-ops in New York City and why does it even matter. Hello guys, thank you for tuning in to another segment of Coffee with My Agent. This is Javier from Keller Williams, and condos and co-ops in New York are like a different beast, very different to everywhere else. So I wanted to address that for the buyers out there and potentially the sellers also who bought a while ago, to understand what's the difference in the process for you, whether you're selling your condo, your co-op, or whether you're buying a condo or a co-op, or if you're making a decision. In all practical purposes, condos and co-ops, you're going to occupy a unit, you're going to live there for the length of the time you want to live there. You basically sell it and you buy it, or you buy it and you sell it. The process of marketing the property very similar. There are two different kinds of ownership. In the condo, you own real estate. You get a deed, you own everything within the walls of your condominium. In a co-op, different. You actually own shares of a corporation that owns the real estate, and you get a unit assigned, and you sign a proprietary lease, which states that you, the owner of a certain amount of shares, are occupying a specific unit for the time of your ownership of the shares. What are the practical implications of this? It means that anything that you want to do in your unit inside the wall, if you're in a condo, you're good to go. If you're in a co-op, there's certain rules that apply. And if you're going to do major alterations in the co-op, you need to be approved by the board. Both of them, you come in, you make an offer, seller accepts the offer, and you're good to go. Then contracts are signed and we go into the application process. Both of them have application processes. Now they are for very different reasons. Condos, the board of a condo or the management of a condo has the right of first refusal on every unit that sells. In a co-op though, it's not a right of first refusal. The co-op board has to actually approve the incoming buyer to become an owner of the shares. They're going to fill out a very large application and send a very large package, sometimes 2 years worth of taxes, bank accounts. They're going to scrutinize a lot of stuff. They want to know that you have at least a year or two worth of liquid money in the bank after closing. So they're not going to approve you if you just have closing money. They want to know that you have money in case you were to lose your job or get disabled, or any problems that might arise in your financial life, that you're not going to jeopardize everybody else in the co-op. After everything is reviewed and it all makes sense, then you move to the second stage, an interview. The interview might be with some people of the board or with the whole co-op, if it's a smaller co-op, right? These interviews, they're basically going to ask questions of the buyer that tend to refer to the package that they submit. Easy answers, easy questions, nothing to be nervous about. If the package is what it is, if you are who you say you are, everything should be fine. Your agents should coach you through this whole process. Your agents should put together this package for you. And if you are qualified, there's no problem why you wouldn't be approved for a co-op. You can buy a condo usually with like 10% down, maybe 20% down. Co-ops, not so much. Usually the minimum is 20% down. Few co-ops up there might accept 10% down. There are co-ops out there that don't take any less than 50% down. Now, that's not to scare you, right? These are very exclusive co-ops, usually priced very, very high. In the condo, there's really no restriction on who can live in the unit. Anybody can live in the unit. As long as there's somebody who owns it, that's fine. In a co-op though, they do give you certain restrictions. Usually the owner can live in the unit. Direct family members can live in the unit. But you cannot just lend it to friends for a year or two. You cannot just like give it up to anybody you want and have anybody occupy there in and out. Doesn't work. Condos, almost always you can rent it out right away. In some cases, smaller condos would want you to live in the unit for at least a year before you rent it out. Now they do have certain restrictions, most of them. They don't want you to rent it out for less than 6 months. That's basically to avoid just transitional people in and out of the building that they don't know. And they do have to go through an application. Again, the application process is for the condo to waive the right of first refusal for your rental. Renting a co-op, much more difficult. Most co-ops do not allow rental of the unit for more than a specific amount of time. So this rule tends to be, you cannot rent it out for more than 2 years. In some cases, you can rent out 2 years out of 5. There are very few co-ops that are investor friendly, and usually they will ask for the owner to live in the unit for a year or 2 before they can actually rent it out. The application process for a rental in a co-op is as involved as the application process for a purchase in a co-op. So for rental, the agent or the tenant will still have to prep that large package. There still will be a board interview, and the board can approve or not approve the tenant without giving a reason, really. I think that both are great value, both are great properties to own. If you think that you're gonna need to rent the unit out at some point, I would advise to go for a condo. If you don't have a year or 2 of maintenance, taxes, and mortgages of cash reserve in the bank, then you certainly need to go through a condo because the co-op is unlikely to approve you. Co-ops tend to ask less money to begin with. The price tends to be less because you don't have investors going at it. They're a little less desirable because of the lack of flexibility in renting it out or doing modifications to the unit. So they tend to be better priced. So if you're price sensitive, co-ops are great. If you're not price sensitive, condos are great. New construction is mostly condo. Older buildings tend to be co-ops. 90% of properties in New York City right now are co-ops. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, share this video, let people know about it. I'm gonna start doing more neighborhood stuff. I'm gonna start going around the city, exploring New York City and sharing with you what I see through my eyes of New York. I'm looking forward to sharing all this with you guys. And of course, if you do know anything that needs to buy, sell, or rent real estate in New York City, I'm your guy. Let me know. Talk soon.